In the top stories, 4 bills go before National Assembly. Trinidad and Tobago pursuing hydrogen project, and India's capital, New Delhi, battles with hazardous air pollution. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Friday, the 4th of November, 2022. I'm Jason Davis. Nationally, 4 bills were brought before members of Parliament during Friday's sitting of National Assembly at government headquarters. The Companies Bill and the Evangelistic Faith Church Incorporation Bill were the first to be read and passed during the sitting on Friday morning. The amendment to the Companies Bill seeks to allow creditors, directors, shareholders, and other interested persons to apply to the High Court to deal with any assets previously held by the struck exempt companies. The Evangelistic Faith Church St. Kitts Incorporation Bill seeks to give the Evangelistic Faith Church situated at the alley Sandy Point in St. Kitts the power to own land and otherwise have legal standing. Other bills on the agenda were the Domestic Violence Amendment Bill and the Cabinet Small Business Bill. The Department of Agriculture received 2,000 pineapple slips from the Taiwan Technical Mission in St. Kitts and Nevis on Wednesday. The new mission chief, Roy Yuan Huang Lo, delivered the donation to Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture on Nevis, Huey Sargent, on his first visit to the island. He replaces Yu Ming Lu, who served in that position for the past 9 years. While welcoming Mr. Lo, Mr. Sargent expressed gratitude for the gift. Mr. Sargent noted that during a meeting with senior staff of the Department of Agriculture and Mr. Lo, they spoke of matters affecting Nevis. He also used the opportunity to extend best wishes to Mr. Lo during his tenure, while registering gratitude to him for serving, to Mr. Liu for serving 9 years as mission chief in St. Kitts and Nevis. Primary schools across St. Kitts have started their annual celebration of Literacy Week. The activity is aimed at piquing students' interest in books and reading while making the school's library exciting to students. Both Keon and Tucker Clark Primary Schools observed Literacy Week Monday, October 24 to Thursday, October 27. Deputy Principal of Keon Primary, Cicely Librad, was quoted as saying, "The week was a success as students were exposed to various ways in which they can enjoy reading." Keon Primary School celebrated the week under the theme, "Reading is the key to rise above the ordinary." Principal of the Tucker Clark Primary School, Devon Harris, said, "I think the Tucker Clark Literacy Week was a success. As usual, the students were very excited, and this year the teachers were able to garner new knowledge as they learned to read Braille and communicate using sign language. With such a success, we look forward to next year's activities." End quote. Literacy Week at the Tucker Clark Primary School was observed under the theme, "Ready to Energize, Aspire, and Discover." On Friday, Edgar T. Morris Primary is observing under the theme, "Reading is the passport to countless adventures." Other schools involved in the exercise included Beach Allen Primary, Irishtown Primary, and Violet Petty Primary. Moving now to news on the regional scene. A new plant in Trinidad and Tobago that will produce green energy is expected to come on stream in the near future. TTT News' Terry Ann Brown Campbell brings us the details.
French company Hydrogen de France joined with the local company Chemistry Green to produce clean energy at the New Gen project. The US $200 million plant will be the first of its kind, according to Hydrogen de France TT's project manager, Dale Ramlakan.
It's only 1 or 2 projects at the scale again, over 100 megawatts in the world, that has started feed or at the point where we are. So when it comes to the technical aspects, this project again is leading the globe.
He said the plant is being fast-tracked.
Our process to complete build is about 2 years, so we're expecting somewhere 2026, 27, early 27 for commercial operation.
Mr. Ramlakan said part of the project's scope of works is to produce hydrogen from desalinated water,
which plans to install capacity around 20,000 tons of hydrogen, coming from 125 megawatts of, we'll say, clean power. It takes power from 2 sources. Energy efficiency power coming from waste heat and renewable power coming from the proposed development of the Project Lara, EBP Light Source project.
The project was officially launched on Thursday at Cara Hotels in South Trinidad. Terry Ann Brown Campbell, TTT News.
In Guyana, the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into the March 2020 general and regional elections will begin public hearings on Friday. And the chairman of the commission, Stanley John, said the aim is fairness, objectivity, and impartiality. Shamar Alain was at the official opening and filed this report.
With roughly 15 persons lined up to testify about the March 2, 2020 elections, the Presidential Commission of Inquiry, COI, will get underway on Friday. During the opening session on Thursday, Chairman of the Commission, Stanley John, noted that the inquiry has no case to prove, but is interested in the truth and fair conclusions.
Now, this is a serious and heavy responsibility cast upon our shoulders. It is a responsibility that I and my fellow commissioners intend to discharge carefully with professionalism, efficiency, thoroughness, fairness, objectivity, and impartiality.
Moreover, the chairman committed to ensuring that the report of the inquiry is scrupulously fair and reflects the accurate events surrounding the elections.
In making our findings, we will have regard only to such matters as are substantiated by credible evidence, with unstinting regard for the rules of natural justice, fundamental fairness, especially as it relates to public inquiries and the rule of law.
The Commission aims to complete the hearings by the end of January 2023 and submit its report to President Irfan Ali by the end of March 2023, barring any developments that might change this schedule. The COI was initiated by President Ali following claims of electoral fraud at the last elections. But opposition leader Aubrey Norton had hinted that the APNU-AFC coalition might not be participating in the hearing. He noted that the probe into the elections should be done by way of an election petition and not by a COI. In fact, political scientist Dr. David Hines believes that no party that contested those elections should be making an inquiry because it would not produce a fair finding. Reporting for AGP Nightly News, I am Shamar Allen.
Internationally, air pollution in New Delhi is soaring to dangerous levels, spurring calls to shut schools in the Indian capital. 50% of government officials have been asked to work from home. Al Jazeera's Alexandra Byers reports.
This is what hazardous air pollution looks like. The 20 million residents of New Delhi are breathing smog. Some of the city's most famous sites now hidden. In some areas, levels of pollution are nearly 40 times the maximum recommended by the World Health Organization.
I feel a shortage of oxygen and the plants and trees are dying. There's no greenery and the pollution level is very high.
The government's asking people to stay inside. Diesel cars and trucks are banned from entering the capital. Construction has been stopped and some factories closed. The government's announced primary schools will be shut from Saturday, following calls from parents and other groups.
When we wake up in the morning, we feel that we should not send our children to school. The conditions are so bad that when we go to our balcony, we feel difficulty in breathing.
New Delhi is the world's most polluted capital. One study found more than 17,000 deaths in 2019 were linked to air pollution. Every winter, it's blanketed in smog as cold, heavy air traps dust and pollution. Another major cause is crop burning by farmers in the neighboring states of Punjab and Haryana, a problem that's often politicized, with opposition parties seizing on who is to blame.
The issue of stubble burning can be resolved by assisting the farmers, not by cussing them. The central government and India's ruling Bharatiya Janata Party should apologize to the farmers instead of blaming them. They should also apologize to the residents of Delhi.
The chief ministers of Punjab and Delhi say they're doing all they can to tackle pollution, but are calling on federal and state governments to work together. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said India will aim to stop emitting greenhouse gases by 2070. That's 2 decades later than a goal adopted by the US and at least 10 years later than China. Back in the city, this smog is expected to last for days, and more emergency measures are planned. But without major changes, the millions of people who live there will have little choice but to adapt to what's fast becoming a new normal. Alexandra Byers, Al Jazeera.
Top diplomats of the G7 vowed to help see Ukraine through the coming winter as they held talks in Germany on Thursday. More in this Euronews report.
Top diplomats of the G7 gathered in Germany, vowing to help Ukraine see through the coming winter. The foreign representatives expressed concern over food shortages and the energy crisis as Russia continues its attack on civilian infrastructure.
They cannot occupy it, they cannot win in the military, in the battlefield, they cannot win the war, and they are destroying the country systematically. Millions of Ukrainians have no longer access to electricity. And what Putin is willing to do is to put the country in the darkness in the winter time. This is a war crime.
Despite the advances of Ukrainian troops on the northeastern and southeastern fronts, a harsh winter is still expected for soldiers and civilians. President Volodymyr Zelensky said that more than 4.5 million people have lost access to electricity. But morale in the Ukrainian army is high as Kiev's forces are preparing for a fierce battle to retake Kherson after the Russian puppet authorities of the city have renewed calls for the evacuation of civilians.
And now for the weather. Present weather is overcast with showers in the vicinity. The temperature for today is 28 degrees Celsius or 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are a gentle breeze of 9 miles per hour from an easterly direction. Seas are moderate with waves of 3 to 5 feet. The weather forecast in St. Kitts and Nevis today will be mostly cloudy with a 70% or high chance of showers and 30% or low chance of thunderstorms. Tonight will also be cloudy with a 70% or high chance of showers and a 40% or moderate chance of thunderstorms. Sunset today will be at 5:39 p.m., sunrise tomorrow at 6:11 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Jason Davis.